If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. This is the verse I love. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Aren't you glad that God knows your soul? Aren't you glad that you know where your soul belongs? Aren't you glad that you know God is going to be with you wherever you go, whenever you go, however you go? God's right there beside of you. Whenever you make your bed in heaven, He's there. And whenever you make your bed in hell, He's there as well. He's trying to pull you out. Isn't it good that God loves us so much that He is around us all the time? And He's with us every moment of every day. David knew that was the truth, and I know that that's the truth, and it's good enough for me. Thank the Lord. I wish everybody would lift our hands and thank God for it right now. Thank you, Jesus. As we enter into worship, why don't we go ahead and give God some praise. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Mighty God, mighty God, mighty God. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Our God is all.
deepest just desire to worship Him. He needs every bit of our spirit. He needs us to dig deep. He needs us to dig deeper. Every little bit of the water. He needs us to give Him something that He's never seen out of us before. That's a sacrifice. That's not worship. It's about sacrifice. You're sacrificing all. You want to buy it on Paul. You won't buy it. It's a sacrifice to God. Hallelujah. It's not my place to preach today, but I do get tore up when the Holy Ghost is on me. It's hard not to grab a microphone during worship service, but I do appreciate, and I love to see Sister Jessica up here singing. I really do appreciate that. That is good. I really appreciate our divisional leaders that we're taking over, that have taken over divisions. We're actively working to make the church a more community, I'll say. Actively working to make the church a community like it should be. Is there anybody that wants to testify? I'm going to give two people chances to testify right now before we move into this, the preaching.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I got to put my hands back on that altar.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all pray for me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Anybody else?
Praise God today for the Holy Ghost. Praise Him for what we feel today.
Yes.
Praise Him for being back in our house.
Yes. Thank you, God. Guess I'll get through.
I don't know, but this not just Mother's Day, but to me it's a very special. That's right.
Amen.
You know, I go by the years, I go by Mother's Days. This was 11 Mother's Days ago that I came in here as a Church of God person. And then before I left, I came to have to stop.
Yes.
He buried in that old man buried in that water.
Yes.
And I became a new creature, Brother Nate.
Yes, sir.
Well, my mind still thinks about it.
Praise
I still think about it because I never want to forget that experience.
Right.
Even though I may almost killed the pastor, but I still don't want to forget that experience.
Right.
Because it took me so long, Brother Nate. Once my big toe touched that water, it was like you had a wire inside that tub. It was just electricity. I knew what it was. I mean, nobody had to tell me. Dad was trying to tell me you better get out. I said, no, I'm already in.
Yes, sir.
I was in the water, so I've got to go on.
Yes.
But I knew I came expecting.
Yes, sir.
See, that's what we got to do. We come to church, we got to come expecting.
Yes.
I mean, we've been out of church for over a month, over how long? We should knock balls down today. We're so excited about being back in the house of God. We may be out there at times, but you know it's totally different than being in here. There's something about being together in the walls. You know, it's almost like, I know it's hard to explain, but it's almost like the atmosphere is boxed in one box. Out there is floating around and we kind of get nonchalant sitting in the cars. I did. I got a little bit because I was watching my phone, who was texting and all that during the thing. But you know what? In here is so much different.
Amen.
Because to me it feels like once the Holy Ghost starts moving, it goes along the walls. Starts going in circles. You know, I've been in tornadoes. You know, tornadoes ain't fun. But you know, when the Holy Ghost starts moving, Brother Nathan, it's just like a whirlwind.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
If you come in this morning expecting something, expecting God to move, then God's going to move.
Yes, sir.
If you come here just to be a spectator, nothing's going to happen.
Amen. That's right.
You got to come expecting God to do something.
Yes.
It don't matter what you've been through all week long or all 3 weeks that we've been out of church or what happened this morning. You're here today. We're here today to worship God.
Amen.
I feel the Holy Ghost right here.
Thank you,
I don't know
Jesus.
how it feels. I can go on.
Come on.
But we've got to come to church expecting God to move every time we're here.
Every time. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because I don't want to leave the way I came.
Right.
Because I can do that at home. I can sit at home and watch it online and nothing ever happens.
Thank you, Lord.
There's something different about being here.
Amen.
Walk
Amen.
in the doors, we should automatically raise our hands. What the sign says on the door.
Thank you, Lord.
Yes, sir. All right. And this course of Thanksgiving. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I remember that day where the doctor got baptized. That scared me. I thought my dad was going under too. Definitely scared me, but it was a good day. I appreciate Brother Doctor. You know, all it takes to put a smile on his face is just telling them you appreciate it. I've done that the past couple of days. That's all it takes. That's all it takes for our brothers and sisters to have a smile on their face. Just appreciate somebody. Just tell somebody you appreciate it. It's easy. It's 3 words. I appreciate you, and it'll put a smile on somebody's face. I do want to start changing the order of the service and getting Pastor up to preach. So if you will, while we're standing, I'm sorry I didn't let you sit down, but while we're standing, why don't we lift our hands and ask God not only to let us be a hearer of the word, but a doer of the word as well. Thank you, Jesus, for this service. Thank you for letting us be back in the house of God. Thank you, Jesus, for your move. Hallelujah, Jesus.
Reach out to it for just a moment today. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Is it not good to be back in the house of the Lord? Hallelujah. My heart is feeling good today to be back in the house of the Lord. Praise God. Praise God. It's good to see all of you here today. We are missing some. I was going back over some Facebook posts from years ago as it brings up memories every week, I guess, or whatever. And I was beginning to go over, you can be seated. I was beginning to go over some memories and look back at Damon's wife, the little boy was here 2016, praying and seeking the Lord. And it was so good to see that. It was good to hear them being going back to church the other night. We hope that things will work out well for them in Arkansas. Just praying for people today. Praying for Pam. Good to see Sister Deborah here today. Praying for Rachel and Andy. Amen. And also Thomas, our buddy. Sister Rachel had surgery. And y'all forgive this thing today. It's not going to operate right. But she had surgery, a very dangerous surgery from what I understand. But she came through it. But she didn't come through it by herself. She come through it with the prayers of the saints of God, escorting her, the angels escorting her through that particular surgery. I want to talk to us just a little bit today. Probably, it's not really my style to do holiday services, but Mother's Day is one that I enjoy preaching about. Because it is something near and dear to all of us. We can join in today and say that not one of us is sitting here that did not or does not have a mother. Amen. We are guaranteed that we had a mother today. Amen. Now, what we're not guaranteed is what type of mother we had or we have. There's a choice out there. I want to preach just a little bit about, and it's a big word, and I may not pronounce it right, but when I was praying about this message, the Lord just kind of illustrated it to me. But the metamorphosis of a woman to a mother. Every woman will not become a mother. Every woman that has a child will not become a mother in the definition that I have of mother. But there is a change that takes place. And I'm so thankful today that God put into you ladies here today a change that happens that turns you from just an ordinary human being into a superhero. Hallelujah. Abraham Lincoln made reference to his mother. He said, all that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. All that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe it to my mother. I'm standing here before you today, and my mother's walking across the back of the church. But I'm standing here today, and I owe everything that I am or ever will be to my mother today. Can we get a hand clap of praise for the mothers here? Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. A gentleman by the name of Mitch Albom said, behind all your stories is always your mother's stories first. Because without her story, yours would have never began. I appreciate mothers today. I appreciate, and I don't want to get too far gone without saying I appreciate my wife, who without her, I wouldn't be a father. Hallelujah. Two of the boys sitting here today would not be in existence. And one who's working today would not be in existence if it wasn't for her. I appreciate who she is. I appreciate the mothers here in this place today. I can honestly say of the mothers we have represented here today, tragedy has struck in some families. Lives have been affected in some families. There's been situations that has happened in families that I would never wish upon any mother or any father or any child. But can I tell you today, you're still sitting here today striving to be the best that you can be in this life. Hallelujah. Let's get into the word of the Lord and get into the message. I did a little research, and I want to stay calm today. Brother Nathan could probably preach 90 miles an hour today and keep his thoughts, but when it comes to talking about mothers, I get a little emotional. I get just a little tore up when I think about the sacrifices that are made, Brother Austin. And the luxury of being a pastor for a little while is that I know some of the sacrifices the mothers here have made for their children. I have watched as they have lost things. I have watched as they have not eaten, not rested. I've watched as they cried, as they screamed at the altar. I've watched as they begged God to just save their family. Mothers do a lot more, can I say today, than fathers do.
Amen.
Well, hallelujah. They say that single fathers have to be the mother and the father. Can I tell you that dads, we're not built to be mama and daddy, but there's times when mothers have to be mother and father. And somehow they make it happen. But it's a choice that you make. Whenever the body begins to grow a baby inside, and I won't get technical today because I don't know the technicalities of this, but as a baby begins to form inside of a womb, that woman begins to change into something different than what she was. She's no longer the same person that she was the day before, I don't believe, because there becomes a maturity that begins to happen inside of that woman. And she begins to make a choice whether she's going to be a mother or whether she's going to just be a person who's having a baby. Hallelujah. Unfortunately, there aren't those type of people out there today, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about those that won't deserve to be talked about today. But there is a certain group, a certain type of person who can have a baby growing inside of them, and they grow to hate that child even while it's growing. Out here in this world today, I would dare say that somewhere right now an abortion is happening. A child is being killed inside the womb of the person who's supposed to love it. I began to get emotional when I began to think about a gift from God being returned to heaven with the recipient did not want to accept sticker back on it. Can I tell you that mothers today, I give you accolades. I give you honor for being the mother that you are because you chose to do what God had chosen for you to do. He made you something today, and you in turn gave of yourself to God. Yes. Hallelujah. I don't know the numbers of abortions that are happening, but I remember when it first became popular, if you will, back a few years ago, and we used to be able to put crosses on the side of the road, Brother Robert. I remember we used to do that up around Lindsay Lane, and it would cover about an acre of land, and that represented the number of abortions happening in a day. And now it would take acre after acre after acre to be able to represent all of those little lives that are lost before they ever get to see the light of day, before they ever get to take a nostril full of air, before they ever get to see the face of their mom or dad. They're taken from this world so cruelly. That's not a mother. That's not a mother, I'm telling you today. I began to look up just a little bit of information from the National Center on Family Homelessness. And 2.5 million children, as of now, the last time the numbers were updated, were homeless in the United States alone. Just in our country, 2.5 million children are homeless. Going to bed at night, possibly in a cardboard box. Going to bed, possibly in the back of an abandoned car. If this ain't what you expected on Mother's Day, I want to preach my heart today. But these little children walking the streets and digging through the trash. I remember growing up, there wasn't a meal that went by that we didn't have the attention of my mother making that meal. Hallelujah. I was putting the Tommy's pizza in the oven today before coming to church to make Ben and I something to eat. And I began to think back. I don't remember a whole lot of times when we had a boxed meal coming out of the oven. I remember when Mama used to cook. And every meal, I didn't wonder if we were going to eat. I didn't wonder if we were going to have something, even if it was pinto beans and cornbread, or biscuits and gravy. me. I knew that there'd be something on the table. But 2.5 million kids today won't know where their next meal's coming from. And we wonder why they turn into criminals and turn into thieves and turn into this and suicide and drug addicts and selling their bodies as children out there. Can I tell you that not every woman deserves to be called mother? But if you're sitting here today and you sacrificed your life and raised your child, I'm proud to call you mother. Hallelujah. According to the website Child Help, over 3.6 million referrals were made to DHR this last year, affecting 6.6 million children, because many of those families had multiple children in the household. Now, before you think it, I know that DHR isn't perfect. I know that they make mistakes and there's calls made that shouldn't be made. But can I tell you, if only 10% of 3.6 million cases of cruelty is correct, it's way too many today. It's way too many young children waking up in a home looking for a mama and a daddy to love them and take care of them, and instead they're getting beaten and mistreated, and they're getting just abused in every which way you can imagine. I feel the Holy Ghost today because I'm honoring some people. I'm honoring some mothers today that said, I'm going to turn aside from the cares of this world. I'm going to turn aside from the fun, if you will, and I'm going to take hold of the yoke of responsibility. Hallelujah. Every 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds the telephone rings at a DHR reporting line somewhere and an abuse case is reported. That's the national average, is every 10 seconds. Somebody is seeing something that's not correct. Hallelujah. I know firsthand of a report within the last few days, and it was given to me personally from someone not affiliated with work or anywhere else, but just a citizen. And a young child walked into their yard the last few days wearing no diaper, shoes on the wrong feet, with waste running down the back of its legs. It was following a dog down a busy road and just trying to get to its dog. And thank God that a mother, it was a mother, but it wasn't its mother, found this child and called the police. And this child had walked over a quarter of a mile following this dog. And I'm telling you something, somebody said, how could that happen? My mama never let me out of her sight when I was a baby. And if I was out of her sight, I was in the sight of my daddy. Because love don't know how to turn an eye away from that thing they love. Hallelujah. In this woman's defense, she did call the police. She did report the child missing and was actively looking for it. But my Lord, how do you let a child walk away from you that's 3 years old when you're a parent charged with holding on to that child and charged with making sure it's safe?
Right. Amen.
Oh, my Lord.
Hallelujah. I just don't understand. I've heard other reports in the past few days of people choosing drugs over their children. People choosing alcoholism over their children. People choosing the affection of some idiotic man over the love, over the affection of their children. People choosing heroin and crack and meth and all of these drugs and prescription medications over the life of their children. And the mantra that comes out of their mouth every time, Brother Nathan, is, I'm going to get them back. You don't deserve them back if you're not going to turn your life around and be a mother that a child will be proud of. It's not just saying I'm a mama. It's not just saying I'm a father. But it's showing that child that I love you and I want you to grow up to be something better than what I am. Hallelujah. I watched my mother and my wife also, as many times at a dinner table, their plate would be partially full. Their plate might have a quarter of what they needed or wanted on it. but our children's plates were full, and my plate was full, and my wife would go to the stove last. My mother would go to the stove last and make sure that we ate before she did. There's many times my wife right now, she'll say, what do y'all want for supper? And we'll call out something we want, and she might not can eat it because of her health, or she might not can eat it because she's sick, and she'll fix that for us, and we'll look up, and she's eating a bowl of cereal, or she's eating a sandwich instead of what she made from us. Can I tell you, there's no sacrifice like a mother's sacrifice. Oh, Brother Teeples, that's just one time. No, it's not. My oldest son is 21 or 22. I don't even remember. 22 years old now for 22 years. My wife has been sacrificing. And for 43 years of my life, my mother has been sacrificing. And I'm not going to say how old Sister Marie is, but for a long, long time, Sister Teeples has been sacrificing for our family, being our mother, and giving of herself. Well, Brother Teeples, you're old now. She don't have to do that. Can I tell you, she still loves me like she loved me when I was formed in her womb. She loves me more today than she did when I was 1 year old. She still looks after me like I'm a baby, and I love every minute of it.
Amen.
It's a mother. How can a mother birth a child that stirred in her womb for 9 months and then watch it be abused?
Lord, no.
I know I didn't mean for it to go this far today, but my heart is stirred. I wrote a post on Facebook this morning. My heart was heavy. It's still heavy today. How can a mother sell her daughter for drugs? How can a mother sell her son into a sexual act for drugs? It happens every day. If you don't believe it, join up with your local volunteer fire department and respond to the calls where you have to restrain yourself from hurting somebody when you see the type of things that this perverted world is capable of doing.
Amen.
Amen. How? What manner of mind does it take? What lack of mind does it take to do something like that?
Oh, my Jesus.
I keep going back to my mother because she's sitting in front of me today. She won't never know how much I love her because I'm not able to express it. Whenever God made me, He put into me the ability to express love like He did a lot of people. I don't know if it's because I had to be tough or what. I think it's just because I chose to be, but she won't ever know how much I love her. I can't express to her how much, but I love you, Mama. And she knows that, but she didn't have to love me. I think of Sister April Lewis. She might watch this later on, I don't know, but I think of Sister April Lewis. She didn't have to love all y'all, Sister Kristen. Well, Robert, your mama didn't have to take you and love you, but she did.
That's right.
She did. I could go around the room here today. You didn't have to be loved.
Amen.
That was a choice that was made. But I want to use my mother today as an example. She didn't have to love me. But there was something inside of her. There was a sense that would not allow her to not love me. I know that doesn't make sense when I say she didn't have to, but then she could not because she's a lady. She's a lady. When she made the choice, her and Dad, to have another child 8 years after Sister Kathy was born. A lot of years after Sister Marie was born. Not too many. Not too many. But when they made that choice, she made the choice to love me before I ever got here.
Amen.
Amen.
And I love that about my mother. I began to think about some other mothers. I began to think about Sister Davison today, who is still fighting for her life. Doing a little bit better, but she's still fighting. When I was around her quite a bit growing up, I loved her like a mother. Still do today. Made fun of her billboard in her hair. But boy, I did all them baked tacos, fried tacos, and nacho grandes, and taco bake. And I did anything that woman made. And there's some things she made I didn't necessarily like, but did I tell her I didn't like it? No. I ate every bit of it because I love her.
Amen.
My wife makes some things, and she probably won't watch this, so I can say this. My wife makes some things I can't hardly stand to eat when I sit there and eat them.
Amen.
She makes something called, what is it, tater tot casserole. If it had a taste, I couldn't identify it. Some of y'all got your thumbs up like it's good. I don't like it. But when it's all we got, I sit there and eat it. And I just smack my lips and act like it's the best thing in the world when it's not. But she's making it out of love. Why? Because she's a mother.
Amen. That's it.
When pain racked her body, worry racked her mind, she didn't let go. She's a mother. I want to read some scripture today, and I'm not going to take too much longer today, but I want to give some credit here in a little bit. We're talking about the bad people. We're talking about the people that's not really worth the title to be called a mother. I've ran across some young men, and I haven't talked to too many young ladies about this, but some young men have told me, Brother Teeples, how do I get her name taken off of my birth certificate? She's not a mother. You know what I have to tell them? Sister Maria, I have to say, young man, you're going to have to pray. You're going to have to pray that God will ease the pain in your mind and make sure that you're a better parent than she ever tried to be.
That's right.
Turn to the Bibles if you go to 1 Kings chapter 3. We're going to talk about a mother real fast. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Appreciate everybody that's joining us on Facebook Live. I want to make a statement before I go any further, though. We're back in the church. Yes. If you're a member of this church, your place is in the church. Yes, it is. Hallelujah. You will not get the same blessing sitting at home. I don't care what anybody tells you. You will not get the same touch sitting at home as you will in the company of your brothers and sisters in fellowship.
That's right.
Hallelujah. I'm glad we have the tool, but if that tool becomes a tool that enables us to stay at home, then that tool will rapidly disappear from our congregation. Hallelujah. Kings chapter 3, starting at verse 16. Stay seated. I want to read quite a few verses, and most of you know this. I want to start this out by mentioning that we will be reading where it says that were harlots. These women that I'm going to read about today were not princesses. They were not queens. They were harlots. They were not the upper echelon of society back in this day either. But it says, then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. Let's establish something. These 2 women lived together in one home. These 2 women, within a matter of days, both delivered children. There was no visitors in the house. There was no strangers in the house. What was about to happen transpired between the 2 of them. Hallelujah. Right. And the Bible goes on to say in verse 19, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. She laid on top of it and suffocated the baby. If you didn't understand the part about she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while my handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. Can you say amen if you know that a mother recognizes her child? Hallelujah. And the other woman said, nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, no, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. And thus they spake before the king. I can almost hear the continuing conversation. She's lying. No, I'm not. She's lying. No, I'm not. It was a conversation, I'm sure, that was beginning to stir the anger of the king. Hallelujah. But the king said in verse 24, and the king said, bring me a sword. It was time to make a decision. Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, divide the living child in 2. He was about to divide between those 2 women which one was a mother and which one was wanting the name of a mother. Hallelujah. He said, divide the living child in 2 and give half to the one and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, oh my Lord, give her the living child. In no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. That woman that was the mother of that living child was willing to sacrifice her child up to the other one to keep its life, because that's what a mother does. A mother is an example of all, but a mother is most an example of sacrifice. A mother has sacrificed many things. There's women sitting here today that could have had a brilliant career in different things, but they chose to be a mother first. Hallelujah. I want to stop again and just give you mothers a hand clap of praise, because you've done something that a lot of people don't do. You become a mother and you stay the course. Let's give them another hand clap. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's women out here today that they say, oh, I can't be a mother because I have an addiction. Oh, I can't be a mother because my lifestyle is different. I can't be a mother because I am not known as a good woman or a good person. Can I tell you, if you're listening under the sound of my voice, that is the time to make a choice to do the right thing, to be a mother that your son, your daughter will be proud of when they're old enough to know. Hallelujah. But this woman was a harlot. But when that child was born to her, that description of harlot went away. And just in the minds of other people was she still a harlot. But in her mind, she was a mother. She had a love for her child. And she wanted it to live. She wanted it to prosper.
Amen. Right.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
When God made a mother, He made a strong being. Made out of love on one side. And a description only I can come up with is stone on the other side. She's hard. She's soft. She's love. She's stone. Full of carrot on one side, but discipline on the other side. Daddy ain't always home to discipline. Daddy ain't always there to be that strong hand. Whoever said a daddy was the only strong hand in a household never got my mother's right hand up beside their left cheek when she decided to let discipline flow. You've never been in my home when mama would say, go get the switch. And you say, which one? And she said, the big one. I ain't going to tell a bunch of stories on mama today. A lot of time has passed and a lot of water's under the bridge, and my mind might make things up a little bit. But when mama got rough, folks, mama got rough. But she didn't get rough until I did something worthy of discipline. And after the discipline was over, love came back into the picture. Hallelujah. I remember, and I tell this nearly every year, but I remember the day when mama whooped me. She told me to bend over the couch, and she feebly struck me with whatever she had. See, I had become much bigger than her. I was probably 6 foot and 250 pounds. I don't know. I always thought myself a giant, but I wasn't. But mama would whoop me and I'd laugh at her. I'd chuckle because I couldn't feel nothing. But mama knew how to put fear in me, because she said, all right, son, in one word or less, I don't really know what the exact words were, but she said, I'll tell you what, we'll just wait for your daddy to get home. And my 6 foot didn't compare to daddy's 6'3", 350 pounds at the time. And he had a belt on him that looked like it was the size of a tire. But it wasn't but about 2 inches thick. But daddy had a way of working that thing. And mama had a way of working daddy. And I didn't know how to work either one of them at the time. But I realized after daddy come home, I should have shut my mouth. I should have let some tears leak out of my eyes when mama was tickling me with that switch. I should have faked it. And I realized really quickly that mama held a power that I didn't hold. And it was the power of daddy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My wife to this day, every time one of the boys ended up, Nathan's moved on out, but if he wants to offend her, she would call me. And I'd call Nathan. And I'd say, boy, you might look down on me, but it's just more of me to put on the ground because I can still do it. And old Andrew, he's about eye level with me. Boy, he makes makes his mama mad, and she'll call me and she'll say, you're going to have to do something with Andrew. And all I do is get on that phone, and I say, Andrew? And he says, yes, sir, I understand. It won't happen again, Daddy. Because there's something about the fear of a father, but it's the love of a mother that puts that in there. Hallelujah. Mama could whoop us. She could slap us. My boys know what it feels like to be slapped by grandma, except for Ben, I think. Mama, you ain't never wound up and slapped your Ben, have you? You need to make plans in your future for that. Because all of my children need to know what their hand feels like. It's the hand of love, son. It smells faintly of lotion and oddly like cornbread. But when it comes across your face, you get a feeling of both and then some pain. But she was a disciplinarian, but she loved us.
Amen.
3.6 million kids can't say that. 10 seconds just passed. They probably just got a phone call of another child that wasn't loved. I look back on these memories with fondness. I look back on a mother that knows she didn't have to choose between splitting me in half, but she did have to choose to love me. She'd already had Marie, who was obviously the picture of perfection to her today. And then here was Kathy, who, God bless her. I know her soul's resting in heaven, but while she was here, she was a tornado. She was nothing but trouble sometimes, but they loved her. And then here I come, having to clean up the mess. No wonder I turned out to be such a wonderful example to her. I'm playing. Lord, forgive me. But she didn't have to love me. And let me tell you something. There was times when Daddy couldn't stand me. He loved me.
Amen.
But there was times when Daddy couldn't stand me.
Amen.
But I'd get a phone call from Mama. I'll never forget one phone call I got. She may have been forgotten. I'm going to hurry today. But she may have forgotten this phone call. But me and Daddy was in each other's business. I done moved out. We was mad at one another. We wouldn't speak to one another. It was going on, I believe, about 6 weeks we haven't spoke to one another. And it wasn't because neither one of us wanted to. It was because we wasn't going to be the first one to break.
Right.
I got a phone call from Mama, and she said, son, you're going to have to call me Daddy now. This has been on long enough. I believe we was edging on up toward Thanksgiving. And I wasn't known for coming around. I'm not the most visiting person in the world. I stay busy even back then. But Mama said, it's time for you to call your daddy. And she didn't tell me to. She couldn't have made me if she'd have tried. But when she asked me, will you call your daddy? All I could say was, yes, ma'am. I'll call Daddy. And he thought he won. The day he died, he thought he had won. He didn't know that he didn't win. Mama had fought the battle and won for him. That's what a mother does.
That's true.
Hallelujah. I'm going to read a poem. I'm not good at reading poems, but on Mother's Day I try. So forgive me if I'm not Shakespeare today, but I spent some time looking for a poem that I thought would express to you mothers today how we all feel. Let me try. I may cry, I'm going to try not to. Mother, you were the first example of Jesus we ever saw. Your heart was tender, but your words were the law. Your hands were ever busy to make our lives the best. You were often the first to give up much needed rest. When we were children, you encouraged and corrected. When we were teens, you molded and directed. In your kitchen, life's lessons were taught. In your prayers, our soul's salvation was sought. I owe you my life and much, much more. We honor you now as we praise the Lord. For a virtuous mother with value so great, nothing on earth can compare or replace. Your love and impact on us and many, many more, we know you have a part of the best of my life I could want. You're my mother, but I say that out to all the mothers here today. God bless you for being a mother. Stepmoms, adopted moms or adopted moms, foster moms. And there's another very special group that my sister was part of, Kathy, and others. She never was able to have a child that lived, but she had nephews, she had children in this church, she had friends that had children, and she was a mother figure to those. My sons, when Nathan got married not long ago to Rebecca, if Kathy had been here, she would have been full of advice as a mother, not an aunt. Because, see, Kathy didn't understand herself as an aunt. If she had you in front of her, and even Sister Beth back there, the cousin, well, she was mama sometimes, because she would tell you just like it is. But there's others just like that, who may not have been blessed yet, or may never can be blessed to be a natural birth mother. But can I tell you, you're just as important as anybody else in this world. You are just as important. Because guess what? You fill the gap in people's lives. When a mama might not feel like being a mama, guess when an aunt steps in? Guess when a friend steps in? Guess when a Sunday school teacher steps in? Guess when somebody that's just sitting there listening and seeing the hurt on that child's face, guess when they step in? No, we might not be calling you mama today, but can I tell you this? You've got the spirit of a mother. Hallelujah.
That's right.
I'm going to step out of the way today. I can't say any more than I already have how much I appreciate you mothers. Every one of you. A lot of you have children here today. Isn't that wonderful?
Amen.
Some have grandchildren here today. Some have grandchildren that are not here, but guess what? By you being here, you brought their name before the church, and the church is reaching out to God for them. Hallelujah. Sister Adams, you probably got more grandchildren here than people. You just got a lot of grandchildren. And there's usually not a day goes by that they don't go through my mind in prayer. I got a phone call from one of them that's in a facility. I didn't know who it was calling. And I listened to the message, and I couldn't call them back because you can't call back into those places. But they left me a message, said, hey, I'm doing good. Pray for me.
Praise the Lord.
I'm waiting on a call from another one. I figure I'll get that call pretty soon. But I'm waiting on calls that says, hey, not only pray for me, but thank God that I've got the Holy Ghost where I'm at.
Amen.
Because they know.
Amen.
Because mamas, even when you wasn't living right, they still knew. They still know what truth is. Because you showed them one time. Hallelujah. Brother Nathan, you want to come up and finish service today? Tithe and offering, whatever you want to do. I apologize if I got a little personal today, but that's my mother sitting back there. And I love her. She's the mother of the church. I didn't really know what that meant, to be honest with you. Mother of the church. Until I realized, with my wife not being here in the church, I realized that there's a whole other side of this pastor thing that requires somebody softer than me. And I believe the Lord has allowed Sister Teeples to stay here on this earth.
Amen.
To be the mother of this church until such a time as my stubborn wife decides to come on in.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
I hope that camera's not still on. Hallelujah. God bless all of you out there. We love you. We appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. Can we just one more time give the Lord and